So first up is Rare Charity, and it's founded by Henrietta Lavelle together with Setemwa Tea Estates that offers access to education to talented people from different tea communities. And the tea gardens represent some of the most marginalized area in many of the world's poorest country. And the Rare Charity aims to give ambitious individuals the agency to implement long-term change in their own ways and on their own terms. And the Nepal Tea Collective, headed by Nichelle Benskoda, is a beautiful Nepalese tea company that brings marginalized tea farmers to light through its collective to help tea communities thrive together. Now, it is said that when a woman is equipped with the proper resources, she has the power to lift and whole families and communities out of poverty. And empowering women is an effective strategy for poverty alleviation. And furthermore, gender equality is strongly correlated with economic productivity. So not only is women's empowerment the right thing to do, but it is the smart thing to do. And just a few facts now. Tea, like many other agricultural industries, it relies on a female workforce, and women make up the majority of tea pickers and farmers in a number of countries and are often underrepresented at senior managerial levels. And generally speaking, women who work in agriculture are highly vulnerable to poverty, poor levels of education attainment, the effects of climate change, and volatile market conditions, and many other issues. The cultivation of tea takes place on estates and smallholder farms within rural areas. Women in these areas usually work more hours than men, have poorer literacy rates, are more likely to experience gender-based violence, and are most vulnerable to food insecurity and poor health. So, what we aim to do today in a small way is to raise as much money as we can to help them tackle some of these issues through the opportunity for tea education. So they may be able to rise the ranks and make significant change. And as you know, every little helps. But here's the fun. So what can we expect today? Now, as you know, there are many aspects to teas, and for this lineup, we have some superpower women from across the world with different specialities and perspectives to share. And in this hour, you will meet, number one, tea festival organizer Madeline Au from Oregon, who, as we speak, is getting ready to start the Eugene Tea Festival. Then next up, we have yoga and wellness expert Paula Cruz, who will be taking us on a life of wellness with tea. Then we have author and tea sensory specialist Virginia Lovelace, who will be sharing another flavor profile and concept you might not have heard of. Then we go to three wonderful producers, Muskan Khanna from the Tea Studio in Nilgiri on being the youngest producer, three Benskoda sisters from the Nepal Tea Collective about growing up in tea. Last but not least, we have Min Min from Mother's Love Tea in Myanmar, and she will be giving us an insight into Burmese tea culture there and remind us how versatile tea is by bringing us through the traditional Burmese salad lapet. So it is no wonder we love tea. Not only does it connect us all, but it can truly teach us about culture, art, cuisine, and of course, contribute to our wellness. Now, ladies, welcome to the celebration. And speaking of which, I'm going to go straight to our very, very first guest, Madeline Au. She's the tea festival organizer and visionary of Eugene Tea Festival in Oregon, and her sole purpose for creating the festival was to build a tea community. And we are saying a big congratulations to her today because this has been 4 years in the making. What strength and tenacity you have. I know it's 6 a.m. there and you're ready to start the festival. So we're very, very grateful to have you here. Now tell us a little bit more about what people can expect from your festival this year and just share a little bit of the magic of the festival with us. Hi, Madeline.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, so today people can expect a vibrant marketplace. They can expect free educational workshops, tea ceremonies, We even have a pop-up printmaker and a live painting that's going to be happening. So it's going to be very interactive. There's going to be lots of free tastings, and day of, we are accepting people sliding scale. So whoever wants to come, if you're local, you're in the area, you want to just take a quick 2-hour drive from, Washington or wherever, I hope that people will come because we are working to make it accessible for everyone.
Indeed. And how does it feel to, to have waited this long to start your festival?
It's so strange because I feel like it was meant to be this way, although that's not how I felt during the process. But I'm truly happy that we're in the venue that we're in, which didn't even exist 2 years ago. And I feel like today is sort of like a special fortuitous day. The weather's perfect. It's International Tea Day. It feels like it was meant to happen today for the first festival.
Fantastic. Well, it's all about timing, isn't it? And just out of curiosity, are there many tea businesses owned by women in this community?
Yeah, I feel like in Oregon, there is definitely a good mix. We've got Angela McDonald from Oregon Tea Traders. Up in Washington, there's Scout with Flying Bird Botanicals. Um, and it's those are the two that I can think off the top of my head. But I feel like I do see women who are in positions of power in the tea industry, and who are actually owning the business.
Yeah, so it's quite a vibrant community of women who are running these businesses where you are, yes?
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like people are very supportive, especially in the Pacific Northwest, of locally women-owned businesses. It's usually something that people will even identify on packaging. So there's definitely a lot of rallying to support women, in many industries, but also including tea.
No, that's really, really fantastic to hear. And, as we know, women can really thrive when they're given support. What would you say has helped you achieve what you have in your tea career?
So I would say for me, mentorship has been the most crucial piece. I'm very thankful to the organizers of the Northwest Tea Festival for taking the time to guide me through the process. Also for the organizers of the Portland Tea Festival. I was the volunteer coordinator in 2018, and I feel like the opportunity to take on more responsibility and sort of understand a little bit more about how a tea festival works was really vital in being able to start this and having the skills to actually coordinate volunteers now, in 2023. And of course, also working at Young Mountain Tea with Raj Vable was a great experience for me as well.
No, that's wonderful. Certainly, as I mentioned to you the other day, project management of a festival is no mean feat. So really well done. And all of us, here on the call and at ESTA, wish you the very, very best of luck for your festival. Please do wish everyone at your festival a happy International Tea Day for us, and hope it all goes well and more people love and find out more about the tea community that exists in your area, because it's so nice to be able to share this beautiful beverage with everyone, isn't it?
Yes, it's going to be a perfect event.
It's going to be great. Before you go, tell us what you're sipping today, because tea is so good for focus, and I'm sure you need that now, given it's 6 o'clock and you're rushing off to go start the festival. So what will you be
Yeah.
sipping today?
So I will be sipping yerba mate, which is from Uruguay in Argentina. My friend from Uruguay is actually visiting me. She just flew in on Friday. So she brought a bunch of delicious mate with her. Although currently I have water because all of our hot water kettles are at the pavilion where the event is taking place. So I will have tea shortly.
Fantastic. Well, we wish you all the best of luck. And by the way, if anyone wants to find out more about the Eugene Festival, we've included the link in the chat box so you can check out more about what's available at the Eugene Festival. Okay, but in the meantime, good luck, Madeline, and we can't wait to hear how it all went.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so
enjoy your event.
Sorry. Oh, sorry, say that again.
Enjoy your event. I'm heading out.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so next we are looking at the wellness aspect of tea. And as we know, tea has so many health and nutritional properties and can be an exceptionally healing drink. It is my pleasure to invite our very next guest, yoga and wellness guru, Paula Cruz. She is a yoga instructor working all over the world, helping people to find peace and help them practice mindfulness. Now, Paula is actually based in Honduras, but I believe is currently in Mysore in India. Welcome to the party. Paula, namaste. Can you tell us how you got into tea and how it fits in your life of yoga?
Namaste. And first of all, thank you, Bernadine and European Specialty Tea Association for organizing this wonderful event, and happy International Tea Day to everyone. And I am in Mysore, and India, as you all know, is also a very big producer of tea, and tea is a very big part of the culture here. So I'm very grateful for being here right now for this day. So I started drinking tea when I was very young. My mom likes tea as well. So she introduced tea into my life. And really, it wasn't until maybe my first years in university that I really understood the value of tea and appreciate the culture behind it. I did a lot of traveling through Asia during my younger 20s. And I just developed this big respect and love for the tea industry. Everything from the beautiful tea fields to the tea houses to how delicately we sip tea, smell of tea. And so I started to adopt tea into my life. And now that I understand yoga better and what the purpose of yoga is and how tea works in our bodies, there's a bigger appreciation for it as well.
So was there a particular tea that touched you, when you sipped it for the very first time and thought, I get this, I understand it? Was there a light bulb moment, or was it gradual?
Well, I can do a short practice with you guys. And for those who don't have tea in your hand, then you can just visualize it. But actually hosting events like what I'm going to guide you through right now, just for a few minutes, will give you an idea of how this love for tea developed into my life. So if you have a cup of tea next to you or in your hand, just lift it up. If you don't have a cup of tea, then just bring your hands upwards and imagine that you're having tea. So now just gently close the eyes. And begin by noticing the warmth of the cup of tea between your hands. Notice the texture of your teacup. Notice the size. And then slowly begin to lift the cup up towards your nose. And take a deep breath in, taking in all of the smells. Notice the different aromas. Then slowly begin to open your eyes. Look into the cup, to the water that you're holding, the color of the tea. And very slowly, as if it's the very last time you will sip your tea, take a sip. And as you keep your eyes closed, I invite you to send a short internal prayer of gratitude for everyone who was involved in producing this cup of tea that is in your hand. When you are ready, gently open the eyes. So tea for me is this more than a beverage. It is the lifestyle of what it represents, the softness, the taste, delicate aromas, the whole culture behind the tea, and also how slowly we drink it. Of course, nowadays, especially in cities with a busy lifestyle, we forget to honor how we drink tea. But when you have a moment and you really enjoy tea, then it translates into how we should also live our lives. Really enjoying being mindful, taking a breath to just take everything in. Did you enjoy the short
Oh,
mindfulness of tea?
Paula, that was truly beautiful. Thank you. Really, it is a really, really good reminder and a wonderful exercise to practice not only daily, but teach others as well to share rather, with others on how we can use tea to improve mindfulness and bring positivity and positive vibes into our lives. And that was really, really, truly beautiful. Thank you so, so much. So yeah, I mean, this
Thank you.
it brings me to a question I'd love to ask you. And taking care of one's well-being, is a great entry to developing love for tea. And many of our guests here not only love tea, but some of them run tea companies as well. And I wondered if you can give us some tips on how they can help others, because people who generally have tea companies have the opportunity to spread that message. How can they help others infuse tea in their lives?
I think that community is a very big part of tea culture. And of course, aside from the goal of actually making your tea company successful in the material terms, what is your real goal? Is your goal to share the love of tea? And if that is your goal, then maybe you can start hosting some free community events where you would educate people on what the benefits of different teas are, maybe share stories of people behind the tea companies. Depending on where the different teas are from, you could also include cultural backgrounds to the teas that you're sharing. I would say just think about your community and focus on your community. Also invite mindfulness into the space that you offer.
That's a fantastic advice. Thank you very, very much. And the last question I'd love to ask you, and as we know, this beautiful beverage is made by so many women all over the world who often don't have privileges we do, sadly. And everyone deserves a life of wellness. And I wanted to ask you, from your yoga teachings, how can we share this light with them to help these women live more abundant, colorful, and confident lives?
Yeah. So one of the main goals of the practice of yoga, or really it's the main goal, is the understanding of our true self. And that is how we live in abundance, by understanding who we are. And it's not something that has to be complicated. One of my teachers, Swami Chidananda, always reminds us of our dharma, which means duty. So I would just suggest to everyone in general to focus on what you're doing right now, on your dharma, and just try to enjoy where you are. And when you are enjoying where you are, then you are practicing present moment awareness, which is what mindfulness is, which is what we just did. And when you learn to take in the moment fully, then you will also live in abundance. And once you are in that state and that high vibration, then all other things are coming to you as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Paula. We really appreciate you being here, and you've definitely brought some zen to many around the globe just on this call. So namaste, happy sipping always, and I hope you have a good trip, rest of the trip in Mysore. When are you going back?
Thank you.
When will
Beginning
you
of June, I'll be in New York.
All right, okay. All right. Well, have a good one and happy sipping always. Right, everyone, we have raised £848 so far. So thank you to all of you that have contributed. Now, every penny has the power for great change. And I want to share one person who will be benefiting from your generosity. Just give me one moment while I change my background. I'd love to show you one beautiful lady who will be benefiting from this is Rogina. Now, wait, let me see. Am I pointing in the right way? Yes, correct. Rogina. Rogina Lamgade, she is 20 years old and she wants to learn tea making. Now, her father currently works as a driver for the tea garden in Nepal, and every penny she receives will give her the chance to reach greater heights in her career, inspire growth and change. So remember, if you can, donate to the fund. She's not the only recipient of what we collect, but if you can, please do. I will just change my background back again. Apologies. There we go. Please do scan the QR code to donate as much as you can here. Every penny will be extremely appreciated. Okay, so this is a beautiful aspect of tea, and I'd like to show you another. So from the spiritual side, we now move to the scientific and sensory side of tea. And who other than tea sensory scientist, author of several books, including The Nerd's Eye View of Tea, Virginia Lovelace. Many of you might already know Virginia, but for those who don't, Virginia Uttamalan Lovelace is an MD, who explores the aromas of teas, how they come about, how their aromas interact in the mouth, nose, or brain. She's a smart lady and a real power woman. So tea excites all our senses. And one particular interesting profile is umami. But when we experience a full round taste in the mouth, that is a similar sensation, say, to eating cheese or mushroom that really fills the mouth, this is a Japanese taste concept called kokumi. And today, Virginia is going to be sharing a little snippet on what it is, how it works. Hi, Virginia. It's a pleasure to see you again. Welcome to the party. I know you have a short PowerPoint to share with us.
I do. And I want to thank you so much for that lovely introduction. Let me just go to the share screen here. And can everybody see that? I hope.
Yes.
And wonderful. And this talk is going to be called Kokumi, or Why Tea is So Delicious. And the question is, what is kokumi? And when you drink your tea, you will get a full mouth with a lingering experience. That's today. I mean, after you sip it, you have an aftertaste. And that's what you get from a delicious piece of meat or cheese or mushroom, or in fact, tea as well. And if you add a compound, any compound that has that quality of conferring kokumi, it will change, or rather enhance, the flavors of that food or drink, in this case, tea, that you're eating. And so, for example, if you add something that confers kokumi qualities to a sugar solution, it will taste significantly sweeter. And if you do that for a salt solution, it will taste saltier. And the key chemical point of view is that it derives from peptides. Peptides are small portions of proteins that have what is called a gamma glutamyl group attached. And gamma glutamyl is a little ending. Well, let me show you what gamma glutamyl looks like. Here's theanine, and if we whoops, come on, there we go. If it has a structure attached to it that looks like this, N stands for nitrogen, H for hydrogen, O for oxygen, and wherever you see a point in that jagged line, that's where a carbon is, and that whole end group is what's called a gamma glutamyl group. And that exists on something that we know is in tea, namely theanine. And so we already know from the fact that tea has theanine in it that it is going to have that kokumi quality. And it was this quality was found to be attributable to this gamma glutamyl when it was isolated from garlic. And that compound that had that quality is glutathione, which is in garlic. And as you can see here, outlined in the red box there, that is basically the same structure as we just had here, just mirror reverse, because that's the way the slide was made. That is exactly the structure that gives you that kokumi quality. And it's worth noting that it is a flavor modifier. It is not a sixth taste. Umami is in fact a taste, actual taste, but kokumi is any substance which has that gamma glutamyl portion on it, and you add to it, and what it add to it, a food or a food already contains it, and what you'll experience is an increased mouthfulness. And by mouthfulness, I mean an increased feeling that you have something in your mouth. Another feature is a sense of continuity, in the sense that, you know, we were all sipping our tea and paying close attention to it. What you will also have noticed, as Paola was just explaining, and when you are, you know, mindful of what's happening with your tea, you'll get a sense in your mouth of a sense of continuity, of lingering, of something that is not just, you know, in your mouth for a second and gone, but something that really lasts for a while afterwards. And one of the things I think Paola was trying to, impress on all of us, and me especially, was I feel this very strongly, is that sense of tea giving you that feeling of, you know, well, Paola, you explain it better than I do. What?
Fulfillment.
Yeah, fulfillment, exactly. A sense
Sorry.
of something that is huge right at that moment, and then a hugeness that continues on. And another feature of that fullness is, of course, thickness as well. And when we look at the time frame over which these feelings appear, the first thing to know is on the A graph, this is just sipping anything or eating anything without the kokumi aspect to it. And when you then add the kokumi substance, for example, in tea, that would be theanine, what you're going to get is, first of all, an increase in the intensity of the flavor. The flavor is enhanced. Secondly, you'll notice that instead of having sort of the little ups and downs of the flavor as you're eating it or drinking it, it gives you a sense of basically that sense of roundness, that mouthfulness, and you have a feeling that your tongue is coated. And as a matter of fact, I had my tea just now, and I can still feel that sense of coatedness that the theanine will give it. And when that is hand in hand with the idea of continuity, you can see number 3 there. You can see the time difference of how long this lasts. As a matter of fact, it was, I don't know, maybe a minute ago that I tasted my tea, something like that, and I can still taste it. And I am brought to awareness of it. And that awareness includes a sense of richness, of complexity, of deepness. And of course, at the same time, and this is why tea is so wonderful for an exercise like yoga. I will say in parentheses, my eldest daughter is a yoga teacher, and she has taught me a ton. And so, you know, this sense of harmony, of the feeling at one with what you're experiencing, really comes out of tea in particular, because it has these compounds in it, theanine specifically, which enhance that general feeling. So you get a smoothness, a roundness. And then there's one other feature that you may or may not have noticed, but you might see when you take another sip. And that is that it is an almost immediate sense of the intensity of the tea. In other words, what is called here punch, which is a sharp rise in the intensity you might experience. And you'll notice that as you drink tea, especially green tea. And what is so fascinating about the compounds that activate what is called here the calcium sensing receptor, in other words, theanine, and specifically in this case, is that it will not just give you that taste perception, but it will also potentially, and this is a subject of great research interest, as you can imagine, it also can affect your blood vessels. So for example, a reduction in lipid accumulation, and as you may know, part of atherosclerosis is lipid accumulation, and it is also inflammation. So what potentially your tea may be able to do for you is to decrease your chances of developing severe atherosclerosis. And I put a little picture of matcha down there to add it. This slide comes from a paper that's basically just been published, but they forgot to include tea. So I thought it was very important to include tea in that picture. And what is fascinating also is that theanine, which does in fact also give you that umami flavor that you sense, that meatiness sense, it also makes the tea taste richer. It constitutes about 1 to 2% of the dry weight of green tea leaves. So you really get a big dose of kokumi experience when you sip a green tea. And then thank you very much. And I just want to point out that I talk about all these things in a couple of books that I have. And now I'm going to stop the share, but
Oh, Virginia, it's fascinating as always. Can I just ask, you say green tea is how you can experience kokumi, but if somebody, after listening to this presentation wants to go and try it out and experiment and, sense it for themselves, which is the best green tea you think one can experience?
Very good question. And I saw somebody was drinking a Longjing I can't pronounce things correctly in Chinese, sorry, but Pri-Jing-Ming, is that, how do you pronounce that? The very earliest pluck.
Yeah.
What's
close enough?
Okay, close enough. Oh gosh, and I don't have the up and down of the proper up and down of the sounds, but be that as it may, the reason why that tea is so delicious is because during the dormant period, before the first leaves appear on the plant, what's happening is that the roots are making theanine, and that theanine then, when the first flush starts coming in, that theanine then moves up into the leaves. And so those first leaves, those first spring leaves, have the most theanine in them. And you can even make it more intense by having some shading. So the gyokuro, for example, that you were going to make, or the tencha that you're going to make matcha with, if it's, you know, the early spring version of it is going to have more theanine. And that is why those spring teas, especially green teas, are so much appreciated. So one thing you can do to just make a comparison, if you will, is to take a spring version of a given tea, green tea, or a black tea for that matter, and then take a later in the season. And what you'll notice is that the that roundness that I was speaking of is going to be less intense in the later teas, you know, plucked later in the season, later flushes.
Oh, I'll certainly be running to, you know, to try that. But it's so interesting and informative as always, Virginia. And she's right, there's so much more in the book. We've also added a link so you can find out more about, you know, how to get it wherever you are in the world. And Virginia, you know, we'd love to invite you back in one of our webinars, our ESTA webinars, to talk sensory with all our members. So perhaps maybe we can talk about that soon. That will be absolutely fabulous if you'd like, of course. But yeah, everyone, give us some of your comments, you know, write in the chat box what you think of Kokumi and whether you have experienced it for yourself. And also, if you want to hear more from Virginia as well. But for now, Virginia, thank you so much. And before I move on to the next guest, what are you sipping?
Oh, my sort of, you know, everyday tea happens to be from Java.
Okay.
And you know, when I feel really fancy, I sip a tea from Mississippi, Black Magnolia, but from the Great Mississippi Tea Company. But as a, you know, as sort of a go-to tea, it's just you know, a generic Javanese tea. And the reason why I want to point that out actually is because again, women in Java are the ones who create this tea. And I don't know about the economics of Javanese tea, but if it's anything like elsewhere in the world, women deserve more.
Thank you. Thank you. I completely agree. And thank you for saying that. And that's wonderful, Virginia. Thank you so much. And we'll definitely speak to you again soon. But yes, thank you for staying with us, everyone. And just to remind you, we'll be taking a picture together and recording the list of partiers on the call because this is a momentous occasion, and we'll be raising our cups for all women in tea towards the end of the call. So I'll let you give you a little bit of warning so you can perhaps maybe get your cup of tea ready and turn on your camera. So because I know some of you are a little bit shy now, which is okay. You will still have plenty of time because, like I said, I will give you a little hint that we're getting to that mark. But now we are going around the world, first to Nilgiri, to meet Muskan Khanna from Tea Studio. And she is one of the youngest female tea producers and a visionary as well. And when the doors of Tea Studio opened in 2017, Muskan was ready to lead change, and she stepped into the role of manager, and in an unprecedented move, she began hiring women exclusively to run the factory. The Tea Studio team all come from local families.
Sorry, this is what I hope would not happen.
Don't worry, I hope the same. Sorry, my dog might bark as well, but that's no problem at all. But I just wanted to tell everyone that, you know, all your studio team came from local families that have spent generations growing tea, selling it to independent factories. And for the first time, these women were now inside the factory and in positions of real power. I want to give you an example of I hope I pronounce her name correctly, but Vaideki Kanan. She is the head tea maker at Tea Studio, and her family has been growing tea for generations, and she was destined to the same until Muskan hired her. Now she decides the purchasing price of the harvest from other local farmers, She determines the value of men's work, shattering centuries of tradition. Now, what an inspiration. So welcome, Muskan. And can I just first ask, where did you find the strength to challenge tradition like that?
First of all, thank you so much for having me. So I think it was more, I would say it was sort of my dad, Indy Khanna, and Kevin of Camellia Finances, is sort of like when I asked them if I could run the tea studio, there was no apprehension from their side. And I think that's what started this whole snowball effect of me managing the studio and like doing everything by myself.
I see. Okay, so would you say that it's a lot of from how you were brought up, that strength that you receive from your family?
Oh, definitely. So because my dad has been in tea all his life, and it was just I started my career in advertising, and then sort of when they started constructing these factories, when I asked if I could sort of come and manage the factory and work here, it was the trust they put in me and said, yeah, go for it. You can handle the factory by yourself, and it just happened.
Just really give you the autonomy, the independence to do your thing. That's really great. So you received a lot of support, and now 6 years on, how has making this move to support these women change your business? Has it?
It's not really, I wouldn't, well, it's changed the business in the sense that yes, it's a great thing that we're doing, that we're helping women in our society to sort of have an income for themselves and stuff like that. But it's also, I've seen a lot of change with the women in the factory itself. Whereas like I see like now we have 7 girls working for us at this point, and I see how they want to sort of help their girl child to be educated, which is something which unfortunately doesn't really happen in rural India a lot.
Yeah.
But I've seen that change where they want to now they want to give equal sort of priority to education to their girl child and their boy child, because our girl will, go on to do something. She will go on to be something bigger. She will go on to be something stronger. So I think that is a change that we really have.
That's wonderful. So seeing you almost also as a role model help them understand the possibilities if their girl child gets support, isn't it? And that itself inspires a change from such a traditional culture like that. And that's amazing. Before I ask you the question I want to, as we were talking in the last few weeks, you were manufacturing. So how did that go and what did you make? What were you making? Basically, black tea.
Well, usually Nilgiris is it's 12 months of the year where we manufacture. But unfortunately, for some reason at this point, the rains just haven't hit us. So we had a bit of a lean period of leave, and then we had these orders just coming in. And then suddenly the rains hit, and then I had a backlog of orders which I had to fill. So it was just sort of every day was manufacturing, which is why every time you ask me twice or thrice, when we speak, I'm like, oh, I'm in the factory from 9 to 5, the machines are going on.
Busy.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me, and I don't know if I'll be manufacturing, but so at this point we were manufacturing the tress and the maofang, which is 2 orders we've got pending.
Well, very nice. And no, I could hear you very well. And I was very grateful that you could even fit me into your schedule, because I can imagine how crazy it must be where you are. So yeah, no, it's a pleasure. And, what advice would you give other producers thinking about, doing the same, supporting women and contributing to their communities like that? What advice would you give?
I would say just go for it, because I have seen the change which has happened. So basically we employ women from the villages near us. There are 2 villages near us. We employ women from there. And I've seen the change in their perspective and their way of thinking, and, just the way they have sort of grown with us. And I would say I really would encourage every factory to do something like this, encourage your women, the women workforce to do this. And also because being a specialty tea factory, the leaf that we get is very delicate. The sort of end product is very delicate. So my thing is you need a woman's hand to sort of, because we do hand sorting. So we don't do any, there's no machine sorting, there are no sorting machines. it's all hand sorted. And I just feel like a woman's hand is so much more delicate and so much more intricate. And I feel that that's something which should be encouraged.
That's very true and very, very well said. And Muskan, thank you so much. It's truly inspiring. Love your energy, your contribution, and very, very grateful that you're on the call today,
Thank
Muskan.
you.
Good luck, and we can't wait to follow your journey. But now we fly over to Nepal, everybody. And if only we could do that physically in real life. But we go, to three wonderful sisters of the Nepal Tea Collective. We have three, Tara, Santa, and Samikchaya. Are we able, Oscar, to have the three ladies on spotlight on the call?
We are.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, while Oscar is a theatre director, by the way, putting spotlights on our guests, I would love to tell you that the Benskoda sisters are second-generation tea producers with a family lineage of 40 years in the tea industry. And they grew up in tea. And these three sisters are very committed to empowering women in Nepal, and they are determined to take Nepali tea global. Hi, ladies. How are you today? And happy International Day. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
I'm hearing you. Hello. Happy
Okay.
International Tea Day. This is Tara.
Tara,
Hey.
hello. And
Hi.
hi, Tara, Santa, and Shamit Chaya. So who is oldest, who is youngest?
Me, Santa is elder, Samiksa is younger. I'm middle.
Okay. Oh, well, it's very nice to meet the three of you. Now, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Nepal Tea Collective and its truly inspiring and ambitious goals to get farmers out of poverty?
Sure, I'll go first. Hi, everyone. I'm the second generation to produce a tea producer. And our tea farm is established, and we are been producing organic teas for 40 plus years. And the vision of our production unit and the Nepal tea as such is give the quality life to the farmers. And how we do that is like my father and mother actually, they started tea plantation in our backyard. And then it's growing. And we have now more than 200 plus farmers joined our tea farming, and we have our separate garden as well. So that's how we just want to give them a quality of life and economic empowerment to them as well. So we have been giving different things, just as like we said, investing on futures. So we do the scholarship project so that we can invest on the younger generation as well. And then the Nepal Tea Collective is a very big platform, a immersive platform that brings all the fresh tea produced in Nepal to US and the global market. And it just cut down every middleman or person. So directly from farm to the consumers. And the interesting thing about Nepal tea is like tea is a very sensitive, as everybody said that already. And we do with the full of our heart and soul. And most of the 70% of the workforce are female. And if you want to be part of this whole journey and Nepal tea, then you can invest with just minimum of $250, and you can be the investor of the whole Nepal tea and making farmers and lead this tea to the global market, and also give a quality life to the farmers and also the other associate things in the tea generation or tea farm as well. And I will wrap up with this because I have two sisters and yes, and currently I'm drinking a Kumari Gold. That's a specialty tea, and Kumari is named after my mother, middle name, and it's a living goddess in Nepal as well.
Oh,
so
wow. That really sounds wonderful. So then what do you think is the greatest challenge for First of all, actually, let me ask, I know you are sipping Kumari Gold. How about the other two sisters, Tara and Santa? What are you sipping?
Yeah, actually, I'm Tara. I'm sipping today KT Muscatel tea. So this is a truly special tea from our farm. During late second frost, there is a special insect called thrips that bite the tea plant and protect from it. The tea plants create truly amazing flavor. It's called muscat or muscat grapes, you know. So I'm really enjoying this cup today, and this crop also I'm looking forward to crop as well this time. And
Sounds
I like to introduce myself, like I'm Tara, and I'm second generation tea producer in Nepal, in my Kanchenjunga tea state, in our family business. So more than 25 years. In fact, I was one of the very few women. I had opportunity to be in management level in the tea sector, tea industry. And then I look after the export and all Nepali tea, especially Europe and other countries.
nice to meet you, Tara. And
Yeah,
Santa, what are
very nice to meet
what are you sipping? Oh, Santa, we can't hear you. I think you're on mute.
Sorry.
No, no problem at all.
Hello, everyone. Greetings from Nepal. And today I'm sipping white tea. I want to introduce my white tea is a global market, and we promote in the Nepalese human economic condition better in the tea industry. And I'm also response in my challenge in my questions. Yeah, you already I'm Santa. Yeah, already mentioned. I'm also in the second generation in tea industry. I'm the director of Kanchenjunga Tea Estate and Resource Center. Tea Estate is the first organic certified tea garden in Nepal. It's established in 1984. And this is the not organic tea. This is the fated certified and organic certified tea garden in Nepal. And just, I think the greatest challenges for women in tea sector and tea industry is the opportunity to move up the ladder. When we see tea industry, we only see women as a tea plucker, tea processor, only in factory. So we need to sense that. So we need to sense to that and provided the opportunities to have them in higher position. Therefore, we are training young women to study technical to management. You already mentioned in the name also.
Yes.
And also tea making this year so that we can value them. We have the youngest supervisor who is the 25 years old in our farm at tea garden. That
25 years, that's amazing.
Yeah, that more than 20 pluckers every day, whom we are also hoping to train Rosina, 20 years old, to study to making the tea industry so that she can be Nepalese second generation women tea industry in Nepal. Thank you for giving opportunity to me.
No, it's our pleasure. You know, we're very, very happy, and this is why we're gathered here today to support all these ladies in Nepal, in Malawi. We're trying to raise as much as we can to help them, because clearly they have a lot of value to give, and it's important we do so. And remember, thank you, ladies. Thank you for the wonderful, vibrant view of Nepal and your efforts over there. So I really, really thank you for being part of this.
Thank you so much. So I want to say something to you.
Oh, sure.
Can I? So
Yes,
so
Tara.
Actually, we are testing other tea also. So the tea name is Pramila's Hope. That what is that is like that we are dedicated to our sister who passed away a few weeks ago.
Yes, I really do apologize for that. Our
find more
condolences.
detail on that in few weeks. We'll launch in our website. So I wanted to say you that also, and happy International Day to everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and many condolences for your sister that passed very recently. I'm sure it must be a very, very trying time, but hopefully we'll dedicate our thoughts to your family. But thank you so much for joining us even in tough times like that. And remember, everyone, if you haven't done so, please do give every penny that you can spare. We have raised, by the way, £1,043. So thank you so much for your donation and support. Many of Rohina is a receiver, but we hope, we can create a fund that's big enough today to donate to the rare charity as well from Setemwa Tea Estates in Malawi. And of course, we will be following up with everyone on how the money was spent and who benefited. So you'll get to see where your efforts during this call would have gone. And okay, so next up, ladies, by the way, we're nearing the time that we will start to cheers. Before that, of course, I have another guest on the lineup for you. But if you can do two things, make sure you have your cup of tea ready. And if you're feeling, I hope you're not shy, because I'd love you to switch your camera on, because after we speak to Min Min, who's next up, we will be taking a picture together to capture this momentous event. But next up, we have one last producer to showcase in today's event. And unfortunately, that is the most we can do in this short time because, as I mentioned to you, we're closing on the highlight of the event where we raise our cups for tea around the world on International Tea Day. So please do make yourselves a brew. And I bring to you, zooming in on Myanmar, Min Min from Mother's Love Tea. And Min Min is not only going to share her journey with us, but she will be also talking about the versatility of tea in food. And what better way to do that than illustrate this by showing us the Burmese fermented tea salad lapet. So welcome to the party, Min Min. Thank you for joining us this late at night for you. When we spoke on the phone last week, I was really impressed by you and your family's determination to produce specialty tea, your company's rapid growth, and the fact that you actually produce rarer types of teas, such as purple teas. So Min Min, welcome, and tell us a little bit about Mother's Love Tea.
Hi, yes. Hello, everyone. I am Min Min from Myanmar. It's such a great honor for me to be invited. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you very clearly.
Thank you. It is such a great honor for me to be invited to participate in this event, Introduce Myanmar Tea. I'm one of the director of Mother's Love Tea, and actually Mother's Love Tea is our brand name, and it's a family-owned tea business. And our family has been at it trading in tea about 50 years. Until 2002, when we when we participate in the project development in our region with the establishment of the starting planting the tea trees and the tea factories in our region. And the company just registered at that time in 2002. And unlike other region, our region is located in a city called Danyan, northern Shan state of Myanmar. As in Myanmar, there's also tea producing in other areas like southern Shan, northern Shan, and even the northern part of Myanmar. But in our region, what is different is we are the only tea producer in our region. So we have to collect and source of the tea, fresh tea leaf and the finished tea leaf around the region near us, and now we are the tea products that we are producing now are green tea, white tea, black tea, and like you mentioned, the rare type of tea, bubble tea, and even pu'er tea. As most of you know, the most of the tea produced in Myanmar are very close to the border of China, and northern part of Thailand and Laos. So there's also ancient tea tree in Myanmar, found in Myanmar. Some are even centuries old. So that's why we are also, having venture into producing the pure tea. And as we are running the whole entire value chain in tea, starting from nursery, planning, processing, and packaging, and even distribution to both domestic and doing some export to international market. That's why we can offer OEM and services. What do you call white flag? Is a white label, right?
White label, yes.
White label, yes.
Label.
We
Yes.
offer the OEM services, and we can even customize the product that depending on the customer requirement. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Tell me something, Min Min. Most tea companies are run by men, except yours, of course, because I know you run it with your sister as well. But I know you mentioned that women are the ones behind plucking and making the tea. And I understand that Mothers Love Tea sources tea from the 40 villages around you, offering a win-win situation for the ladies. And can you tell us more about how it benefits them?
Yes. The most obvious result to make this into a positive impact is because we with the establishment of the collection center, before as women make at the majority of tea picker, including in Myanmar, and the workforce on processing, and what happened in our region is they don't get fully paid for what they deserve, just because of lack of the transportation mean to deliver the fresh tea leaf that they pluck to our factory, which means they have to depend on the middleman who have the transportation mean and collect off the fresh tea leaf and deliver to our factory, which makes the real typical didn't get a fully pay. And when we saw that issue, what just come out to target this is we go into the villages and build a collection fresh tea leaf center with our own employee, and making the tea picker
straight away.
Yeah. And make the tea picker that they can sell their fresh tea leaf directly to us and get fully paid for their fresh tea leaf. We also offer the fair price depending on the fresh tea leaf that they pluck, or a higher price for the 1 bar and 1 bar and 2 leaf, and a little bit lower price for the the bigger leaf. So they get like twice for their incomes. So this is really the obvious, the remarkable result for how we impact those tea female picker by increasing their income, to make sure they get their fully paid.
Yes, no, that's wonderful. I think it's definitely a great thing that you do. And by the way, everyone, if we're holding a webinar on Wednesday, actually in a few days' time, and you can find out more about Mothers Love Tea and tea from Myanmar if you join our webinar, which we can add in the link perhaps, or maybe if you go to our website, the specialityteaeurope.com, you can find out more about that. I want to ask you one last question, Min Min, because I would love, we're running out of time, but I would love for you now to tell us about lapit and how you make it and how it tastes.
Yes, sure. For Myanmar tea, when the topic about Myanmar tea arises, people often wonder, what's Myanmar tea taste like, and what makes the Myanmar tea culture unique is, other than drinking tea has been eaten as a delicious salad in Myanmar, what we call lapet in Burmese name. It is the type of, it is a bigger tea leaf, and it is a mix of the bigger tea leaf with a variety of frying beans, peanuts, frying garlic, and with some local seasoning on it, And the way the lepe, offering a lepe to the guest is also an expression of hospitality in Myanmar culture. And besides, it is also an essential cuisine for all kinds of celebration and rituals in Myanmar culture, And I also prepare here one lepe for today, just want you guys to have a look on it.
Yes, we would love to see.
And see that? Yeah, here is peanut, and the pickled tea leaf salad is here.
It's a little bit difficult to see. Can everybody see? Yes, but don't tip it too much so that it don't. Maybe take a picture.
If you're interesting, you can just type lepe in Myanmar or Myanmar lepe. Then I think this will come out definitely because it is unique to Myanmar.
This is the thing. I mean, I've tasted it before. It is an amazing salad that is really, really good for you. But yes, if you want, if you can actually send us the best recipe for lapet, and maybe everyone can try it with the tea leaves they have in their countries. And it's quite easy to make, but you have to just prepare the ingredients in advance. But Min Min, thank you so much. I can't wait to see you again in a few days. And that looks really, really wonderful. So thank you very much. I know it's short, but thank you for taking the time to give us just that little glimpse of Burmese culture and the types of wonderful teas that you produce. So it's nearly time, guys, and I want to thank every one of our featured guests today for sharing their journey, sharing their stories with us. It's a wonderful reminder of the reasons why we love tea and its power to connect and do good for our bodies and soul. And thank you also for the party guests for participating, for all your support and your donations. We're up to, let me see, the latest is 1,058 pounds. So thank you. We are super, super, super grateful. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to celebrate International Tea Day with raising our teacups for the wonderful women all around the world that have given their precious time and lives dedicated to bringing us happiness with each sip. And can we raise our cups to them and just hold it there? If everyone can just switch on their camera as well, but raise our cups, hold it there, because we have a team in the background taking a picture. It's a little bit like a school photo, but it's going to be worth it, guys. And what a memory. Oscar, can you just tell me? Oh, sorry, mine is, hang on. Yes, there we go. If you got it, Oscar, can you just give me a little...
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everybody. Happy International Tea Day.
Happy International Tea Day. Actually, we can unmute, everybody can unmute, and we can all say cheers together.
Yes, that sounds good. Good plan. Okay, unmute everyone. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cheers.
Cheers.
Amazing, amazing. Guys, and
Bernadine, you need to unmute.
sorry.
Yes.
So I just wanted to say that concludes the celebration today, guys. A big, big thank you from all of us at the European Specialty Tea Association. In case you don't know us, we're a not-for-profit organization, and we exist because of the wonderful volunteers. So thank you to everybody volunteering for ESTA. We rely on membership to keep us going. So please sign up if you haven't. But if you ever need help with anything at all, you need connections, you want to discuss innovations, or you need mentorship, our team of tea professionals would love to hear from you, and everyone's there to help. So in the meantime, happy sipping, have a great day, and we're so pleased you're in tea. So thank you, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the Sunday. Take care. Namaste. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.